You know, there really was no juggling act with New York. It was a very simple decision, which is, I'm going to stay in John's voice. And the perspective is always going to be John's perspective. It's John's point of view. At least as I saw it. And, you know, that we talked about with Yoko was like, you know, hey, this, you know, feels right to you. So, you know, John's not at Studio 54. John's New York at that point is 1 West 72nd Street and Central Park. And that's it. That's New York. And, you know, if you live in New York, you realize there's a lot of New Yorks. You know, there's a lot of New Yorks. There's not just one. And Studio 54 was a kind of New York for a certain at a certain moment for a certain kind of New Yorker, but that isn't even New York. You know, it just kind of like gets glorified and remembered. And so it's very, very easy decision to just say, John is my guide. John's my voice. You know, one of the things that I'm most proud of in the film is that when Sean is born in the film, you don't hear Beautiful Boy, which drives me fucking crazy in these films. It's, you know, this endless kind of loop of Beautiful Boy of watching the wheels during the decode years. The guy is not recording music. He's not even listening to music. He's listening to Light FM. You know, he's listening to the Muzak version of Imagine and Yesterday. That's what he's, you know, and so. We even had a little back and forth about it in the edit room. You know, it's like, I'm not doing it. I just refuse to do it. I want to stay in his head entirely. And so Dad came up with the idea that, oh, you know, when he meets Yoko, and we're at the Robert Fraser Gallery at the very beginning, and we've got that tender moment with her, you're hearing Oh My Love, which is off of Imagine. And not, you know, then you hear sort of the opening chords of Oh My Love when he meets Sean. So he meets Yoko and he meets Sean with the same music. And I felt like, okay, well that's okay. That's a great idea. Let's do that. Chapman, you know, there's a couple of thoughts with Chapman. And one was, did New York kill John? You know, this notion of the New York, at least at that point, was a very violent place. And people talked about when they first heard John was shot, they thought he was mugged. He was mugged outside the record plant. They were mixing at the record plant. They recorded at the Hit Factory and they mixed at the record plant. And, but that wasn't how John died. You know, John died, as Yoko said, because somebody came from very far away to where John lived to kill him. And it didn't matter where John lived, any more than it mattered that George Harrison was living in the English countryside when someone broke into his house in '98 and stabbed him some 7 times before he comforted him. You know, and that's a measure, I think, of a little bit what I tried to do with that Day of the Locust sequence with Jack, was that there's two sides to the Beatles band, the Beatlemania. There's the side of the Elton John concert, you know, the adoration, the kind of like love. And then there's the other side, which is, you know, they want me, which is we own you. You have no idea how important your songs are to me. You know, your songs, they mean everything to me. You can't do that. You know, I own you. And there's a sense, in, I think there's a sense all over music like that, and maybe some celebrityhood in film. But with the Beatles, it was amplified in a very, very strange way. And with John in particular, because he was so forthright. And so people felt like he was speaking almost directly to them, even if they didn't share, you know, a dead mother. And Chapman had that quality. And, you know, to be honest, I didn't want to dignify it. Some measure of why he did it, he said, was because he wanted to be well known, and he wanted his name to be known. And, you know, it's part of that shitty fame machine, that kind of crazy celebrity. And I wanted to treat the death differently than it had been treated, but I was damned if I was going to dignify it in any way. Because it's senseless and it's painful. And you know, John, no, I didn't want to like do the thing that this done periodically, which is like, oh, you know, he's still with us in spirit. And no, he's fucking dead. You know, he's not here, and that sucks. And he's not our loss. That's why that last picture is of Yoko and Sean. It's their loss. You know, I got to buy other albums, but they didn't get to have another day.
I think that the last 5 years of his life, basically the house husband phase with the last year of recording, the darkest, saddest irony of his life, which people watching this film, say 100 years from now, are not going to get, which is that the dark side of fandom, we own you, you owe us to continue being that guy. That's why you listen to Chapman's statements. He did that, and that's not revealed at all in your film. I respect what you're saying, but it's kind of a key thing, why he was shot. I mean, it's a pretty strong theme, it seems to me.
That's fair enough. I mean, certainly you could write that. I find it to be kind of more relevant in the long legacy of John. I don't think that Chapman's motivations really color John's life or give it meaning. It doesn't help me understand John in any deeper way. It doesn't help me understand John's voice in any deeper way. It doesn't bring me closer to his art. And, you know, I've thought about why John matters to me. Because I'm not of the generation that lived up the Beatles. I'm sort of sandwiched between Julian and Sean in my age. And, you know, it's interesting, of John's generation, there aren't a lot of role models who just sort of checked out to be a dad. And, you know, I know that everybody talks about John and Yoko in terms of peace and the anti-war movement, but for me, their big legacy is feminism. John's struggle with it, I mean, you know, early on beating his girlfriend in Liverpool when he was a teenager and sleeping with other women in front of Yoko. And you know, even as he's writing Woman is the Neighbor of the World, but they come to a place where he's comfortable to just be a dad. And you know, we have role models for different things, and I don't think there are very, very many other very famous people, you know, now like my neighbor in Brooklyn, dads all over the place. And not that they're doing that because of John, but I mean, most of us do it because you need two incomes in New York. But it's there, for me at least, this idea that, oh, you know, Scott is a deal, and he just said, come on, you know, to be there. It's not